So there's a rumor in my family that I couldn't walk until I was 4 years old. Now, that's not because I had a physical impairment of any kind. On the contrary, it's because I am my parents' firstborn child and the first grandchild on my mother's side of the family. And my mother has a bunch of sisters. And so the rumor is I couldn't walk because they were always picking me up like I was some new novelty, some new toy that they had. And so the rumor is I couldn't walk until I was 4 years old. Well, I grew up daddy's little girl. And when I was a teenager, my dad and we drove to North Carolina to go see his mother. And we pull up in front of his mother's house, my grandma, and I'm super excited. I'm going to see my grandma. He had a quick run. We lived in Brooklyn, so in the summer we say, I'm going down south for the summer. So he was going to see his mom, and so we pull up in front of my grandmother's house, and we get out the car, and I'm excited. I get to see grandma in North Carolina. And as we're standing there, some little girl that I've never seen before in my life runs down my grandmother's driveway, jumps into my father's arms and yells, "Daddy, Daddy." What? That's my daddy. Who is this? And so that day, I met for the first time a sister that I did not know I had. Now, my parents had been married my whole life. So you can imagine going from daddy's little girl, the first grandchild, my parents' only girl, to meeting a new little girl, jumping into my father's arms. Oh, that day a lot changed for me. But I do want you to know that today, the woman that you see, oh, she can not only walk, she can run, she can fly, and she can jump. Because that day, I learned to never define myself in my relationship to another person except for God Almighty. So it used to be, I'm my father's daughter. I'm my parents' only daughter. But today I stand here before you as me, a child of God, whole, complete, thanks to God Almighty. So I learned as a teenager that my father had another daughter outside of the marriage that he had to my mother. I was unable to accept that as a teenager. I had not lived enough life to understand that things happen, even the bad things, even the icky things, the things you don't want other people to know. And so that little girl met me when she was 5 years old. And she fell in love with her big sister, her pretty big sister, her smart big sister. That was me. However, at that age, I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to accept the relationship. And because I wasn't ready, my father disowned me. He disowned me until the day that he died. And you can imagine how difficult that was for me. But I'm glad to say that due to that challenge, due to that very hurtful moment, knowing that my father had created another family outside of my picture-perfect family, that I now stand here stronger than I ever would have been had I not had to build the muscles of forgiveness, the muscles of resilience, and my love muscle. That same little girl that I couldn't accept when I was a teenager is now one of my besties. She is my sister. I love my sister. I was in my sister's wedding. She means the world to me. See, the thing that I thought could devastate me, and it did for a long time, is actually the thing that propels me. I know that this life we're given, we just get one. And you get to choose how you live that one life. And I choose love. So it's early 90s. I'm a college student and my phone rings in my dormitory. So that tells you how long ago that was, right? And so I get this call and it's from financial aid. Here I am at Bennett College in Greensboro, North Carolina, a first generation college student living my best life. And I get this call and they ask me to come to the financial aid office. I get down there and they let me know you have a balance of several thousands of dollars. How are you going to pay this balance? Well, my dad disowned me while I was in school. He was taking care of my tuition. He was taking care of my expenses. I had no job, nothing. I ended up dropping out of school because I had no way to pay my tuition. Not only did I have no way to pay my tuition, I didn't know where I was going to live. I was living in the dorms. Well, if you're no longer a student, guess what? You can't live in the dorms. So I dropped out and I moved in with a young lady that I was hosting with at Daryl's restaurant in Greensboro, North Carolina. And let me tell you, what I learned that day, here I sit 30 years later, is that you don't need a perfect past to deserve a beautiful future. I don't care what you've gone through. I don't care where you've been. I don't care how ugly, sticky, dirty, and grimy it might be. Your future is determined by the choices you make now. Wow. If I could look back and talk to myself at 21 years old, I would look her straight in the eye and I would say, girl, you don't always have to be strong, but you do have to be resilient. No matter what life throws at you, sister, get up. You're allowed to stay down long enough to push yourself up, and that's it. Life doesn't end in one terrible moment. I remember dropping out of school like it was yesterday. And guess what? It took me 20 years to go back. See, resilience is knowing that you can finish everything you started, and that no matter what's happening in your life, you get to choose what happens next. Get up, stand up, dust yourself off, and keep on going, young lady. That's what I would tell myself at 21 years old. I would love to tell my younger self that all relationships are ships, meaning they're designed to take you from where you are to where you want to be next. You have a relationship with your family. You have a relationship with your lover. You have a relationship with your employer. But the most important relationship you have is the one with yourself. All relationships are ships. And if you make the decision that where this relationship is going, I don't see where this is going. I don't like the direction that this ship is traveling in. Like I had to do. A 15-year marriage that failed. Now, I knew in the first year it wasn't going to work. That's right, the first year. Why did I stay so long? What time is it? I don't think we have enough time for me to tell you why I stayed so long. But what I do know is that once I jumped off that ship, onto the ship I belonged in, the relationship with myself, that you now get to see a woman who is healthy, a woman who is well. You see a 6-figure business owner. You see a woman who has raised 2 incredible children because I made the decision that the ship that I was on at my job wasn't the ship for me. So I jumped ship. I made the decision that the ship that I was on in my marriage wasn't the ship for me. So I made a decision. Make a decision about every ship you're on, young lady, because that will determine your future. You better learn where you are, leverage what you learn, and apply what you learn. See, I'm a leader now because of the hardships in my life. I'm a leader because I had a father who disowned me, a marriage that failed, and a 20-year gap between undergrad, going back, and once I returned to school. Let me tell you what I did. I didn't stop. I got that first degree, check. Enrolled into my grad school program, check, got that. And let me tell you, I enrolled in my PhD program. And that's when the divorce happened. At the time I enrolled in my PhD program, I went from a stay-at-home mother to moving in with my mother and going back to school. And I remember the enemy tried to come at me with those old memories of what it felt like to drop out the first time. I had moved into an apartment. I had 2 dimes and 2 nickels. What Erykah Badu say in the song, I ain't have as much as she had in her song, right? I had less than the dollars and 6 dimes. Erykah, pull that song up when y'all pull this up. Anywho, I had less than that. I was sitting in McDonald's using the Wi-Fi to earn a PhD while going through a divorce and raising 2 small children. And one night I said, girl, what's wrong with you? Your children need you right now. So in learning to leverage where I was, I decided that I needed to be out of school, but I still needed to be productive. So I began writing books. And here I am, 10 years later, with 16 books written to my credit. And that's without AI. I wrote every single word. So young me, you end up being brilliant and you still cute. Okay? So it's 2021 and I'm actually just standing on my porch. I had just checked the mail and I'm walking inside. It's a beautiful southern day. The sun is shining. I mean, it was a great day and it's the afternoon and I answered the call. And it's from the HR director at a municipality and said, hey, we need someone to do some employee mediation. I have a supervisor and a direct report who are not getting along well. We want to save both employees, but they need some help. From that call, that client is now my single largest contract. Create and Facilitate was able to go into that organization and help them not only help good employees who are experiencing workplace conflict work through those conflicts. We now have their contract to do their customized quarterly leadership development. We come in on the front end. We spend that time so that we are able to create industry-specific training for municipalities, for higher education, for nonprofit, and for corporate clients. Our hope is to make such an impact that we're able to work with the largest municipalities across the country. We go in and we meet the people. We put the human back into human resources. See, These companies have LMS, oh, excuse me for using jargon, learning management systems, right? They have learning management systems where you can go in, take a class, they give you some fluffy 10-question quiz at the end, and then the computer says, you made a 90. Great, you now learn this skill. I beg to differ. Create and Facilitate Consulting, we go in, we sit down with your leaders, we find out your actual problems. So your leaders may lack effective communication skills. Perhaps they don't know how to build trust and respect on their teams. Who knows? Maybe they don't even understand what organizational culture is and how that leader of that department determines the culture of their department, which can differ from the organizational culture as a whole. Create and Facilitate comes in, we sit down with you, and we work out a customized training solution that is industry specific. So the way we teach effective communication in higher ed is very different from the way we teach effective communication at a municipality, at a county agency. So customized training solutions helps us reach into an organization, get to know who you are. We understand your demographic. We look and find out, are you rural? We look and find out what the education level is in your county. We find out all of the demographic details so that we're able to bring you research-based, customized training solutions. So I had just finished training at a municipality, and I'm driving home, about an hour ride, and maybe 15 minutes into my ride, I get a call, and it's from the municipality. So I answer, and I'm thinking, did I leave something behind? What's going on here? It's the police chief. So now I'm really worried, because, I got a little left foot. I do, but don't tell nobody. But anywho, so the police chief says, listen, I enjoyed the training today. My team is experiencing some issues, and I really need to get a pulse on what's going on with my team. I'm hoping I can sit down with you, Dr. Timogi, and discuss some of the problems that I know exist, but also do some work to find out the problems that people are not talking to me about. And so I ended up working with that police chief who sat into my customized training, and I was able to build a survey, allow his top-tier leadership to confidentially give me the results, give me what was going on, share with me the intimate and intricate details, because we've all heard that there's this code of silence, right, among police departments. I've never been an officer, but we've heard the term before. They let me in to their code of silence as a non-officer because I'm able to build rapport with people. They trust me, and they know that the work that is going to be done at the end solves the problems. So we come in and take organizations from elusive to empowered. Elusive is, hey, I want to grow my leaders. Empowered is, I want to grow my leaders by giving them effective communication skills, teaching them how to increase productivity, and empowered has a theme, it has a name, it has a purpose. It's not just, I just want to grow them. No, empowered is, we want to increase productivity by 28% by next quarter. So we sit down, we run the data, we run the metrics, and at the end, we give you the results that you need because they're catered to you. Have you met Shay? Because if you met Shay, you will understand why the making of an entrepreneur is a super exciting thing to do, and I'm going to tell you why. Number one, he is full of energy. Have you met his team? Because all of them know what they're doing, honey. I don't know how 5, 6, 7, 10 people can work in such a small space at one time and still manage not to fall over each other. And they make you feel so good. Shay, I felt like I was in my living room. You and your team came out. Y'all talked to me. Y'all put the music on. Y'all made this real easy because your girl was nervous. But due to his expertise of him and his team, the making of an entrepreneur, what I thought was going to make me fall out and faint because, I don't like that camera, okay? But I felt comfortable. I felt at ease. Shay and his team are very knowledgeable. Each of them have their area of expertise, and they walk in it. They shine in it. And so making this documentary was absolutely amazing because amazing people who know what they're doing make people like me who don't look so good. Do I look good, y'all? Thank you. Thanks, Shay and them.